Apologize before I begin. Well, of course, we have some editing issues. I made this in Google Docs, or Google Slides, sorry, and it transferred over to PowerPoint, and I didn't realize that I had overlapping. Hopefully there's not too much overlapping. So anyways, mine was Stand Up and Learn. 3 years ago was the first year that I started teaching 6th grade. I've been in 3 different grade levels, and I was lucky enough that first year in 6th grade that our district bought one-to-one technology for all of our 6th grade students. So last year, after having the Chromebooks for 2 years, I noticed a lot of sedentary activities. So problem number 1 was now I have this one-to-one technology. I've got the traditional classroom. My students are sitting. They're sitting all the time. They're staring at these computers. What are they doing at home? They're staring at these video games. They're staring at their computer at home. They're staring at their iPad when they're out in town. If you look at average family in a classroom or at a restaurant, they are also staring at their iPhones. They're no longer talking anymore. So what can I do in my classroom to allow that problem to start to change? My second problem was, once again, the traditional classroom. Of course, I go really old pictures here just to make a reference that a lot of our classrooms are outdated. A lot of our funding is outdated for the amount of funding that we get for the 21st century classroom. And a lot of us still have old desks, maybe not quite this old, but we've still got old traditional desks. Research shows that the amount of time the average person is sitting, aka sedentary, in a day is 12 hours. 12 hours a day you are sitting. You're sitting right now. You're sitting in a classroom. You're sitting at home. You're sitting in the car going to school or going to work. 3.2 million deaths a year are related to physical inactivity. And, clicked ahead. Sedentary activity is the 4th leading risk factor for global mortality, which is hard to believe. You think just because I'm sitting makes it a higher risk that I'm going to die? That's kind of scary. It's a common misconception that exercise can compensate for too much sitting. If you engage in the doctor-recommended 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity per week, you're still subject to the negative impact of too much sitting. And all these facts from the last 2 slides are from juststand.org. Alternate between sitting and standing every 30 minutes for optimum health. Some of the research community from juststand.org are promoters of this sit, stand, switch philosophy. So if you sit for a few minutes, then you stand for a few minutes, your brain has this hippocampus that is emptying itself. And when you change your motion from sitting to standing, you empty. And your brain now has this more room to gain more knowledge. Low-intensity, non-exercise activities like standing and walking are much more important than most realize. In fact, low-level activities play a crucial metabolic role and account for more of our daily energy expenditure than moderate to high physical activities. So just moving, just standing, just changing your motion every 30 minutes improves more than going to the gym once a week for 30 minutes, twice a week for 30 minutes. Changing your activity, changing your daily routines. So my implementation plan, how can I change it? What can I do? How can I make my kids have this ability to sit to stand and still be comfortable in my learning? So my idea was standing desks, and I'm watching over the summer break that VeriDesk, which sounds great. They could have their Chromebook, they could lift their desk whenever they wanted to stand, or they could sit their desk back down whenever they're ready to sit. But I'm writing a $1,000 grant. Those are $400 a table. I can get 2. Does me no good. So I had to do some more research. I then look at school tables in a school catalog. I came up with these standing desks, which require the students to stand. Still doesn't necessarily meet my research philosophy of being able to sit and stand, sit and stand. You need to change that activity. One activity isn't going to work. And that was $300 a table. I can get 3. Still not very effective. I found in another school catalog one that did allow to sit to stand, but I'm still at $125 per student table. Still can't get what I need for a full classroom. So, I go to my kids. When in doubt, go to your students, because their brains work sometimes faster than ours. They said, Ms. Davis, I have a dining room table that I can stand at. I wonder how much a dining room table is that I can stand at. So I'll look up bar height dining room tables. They have the option to sit to stand. They can be used for my science labs, which if you couldn't tell from my research, my brain, it's all science motivated. Now I can have a science table, sturdy table that they can do their science labs. It gives students a different look in the classroom, so not only are they having this individualized desk, but they walk in my room and it looks like a home. They feel more at home. And $1,000 covered 6 tables and 24 chairs. I can outfit my whole classroom for $1,000. So here's just some students using the desks. As you can see, we were doing labs in this picture, and I have all of the people in that lab chose to stand during their lab, push the chairs out of the way. This is on a daily just worksheet. I have probably on an average day about 10 of my 50 students. I can almost guarantee that those 10 kids are going to stand almost the majority of my class. And then, of course, it also allows some of them, he's got one leg up and one leg down. It just allows them that freedom of being able to stay in their work area. Another positive for me as a teacher is I'm no longer bending, which is awesome. Didn't even think of that idea. Students ask for help and I walk up and their work is eye level. I'm no longer bending and hunching my back, which makes positive for both the kids and for myself. So was it a success or not? Are the students more engaged? Yep, they enjoy the freedom to sit and stand on a daily basis. They are more actively engaged in groups. They're doing more hands-on activity. Are the students more excited about learning? Absolutely. Are they more alert during the classes? I'm seeing a big difference in the alertness of the students in the way that they're talking with me and communicating, and the discussion has gone up. Students were involved in picking out the tables and desks, and they were really excited to have the change in the classroom. Then real quick, these were just some student feedback. So I asked the students at the end, said I'm going down to present, can you all give me some feedback as to what you all think? And these are some of them. I'm not going to read all of them. They're comfortable. You can sit and stand. I did have one person that, of course, has to be my person that gives me the opposite thought of it. And the downside was to doing dining room tables is they don't have storage for their books that they carry to my class daily. We have come up with some situations and some ideas on what we can implement to allow for that. But they've adjusted well. Even though we don't have the storage, they just kind of push it under their chair. We don't have, surprisingly, I don't have material scattered all over the floor most of the time. The tables make working more relaxing. I had 2 students that said almost the exact same statement. The new tables and chairs are more comfortable, and they're good if you get tired of sitting. They're fun and make learning more interactive. Several of the students said, even though I don't choose to stand, the chairs are much more comfortable than your average classroom chair. So they felt more apt to be able to focus because they were comfortable. And that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?